conversation, but...
Hi, I'm Mr. Micah.
Okay, no, so when my wife worked in, like, daycare, like, little kids, they called her Miss Chelsea, and it's one of those, like, little kid things when they do that. Alright, so, at some point, and I can tell a lot of us stalled out about halfway down this screen, at some point we need to get our Chromebook out today. Hey, I'm talking now. You've had, like, minutes. Some point we need to get our Chromebook out and check if you're in the right Schoology class and the right math class. So both of those should show up as Accelerated Math 7-8, right? If it shows up as like Math 7, that's not right. You're in the wrong class. We need to make sure that you're coded correctly in Schoology and in math. I think all of you are right in math. I just want you to check it, that when you log in it seems right. And I'm not sure about Schoology at all. I have not checked the roster on there. But even if you're on your Chromebook right now, I need those to get pulled halfway shut. And we're going to talk about homework expectations. So, that also means if you're doing homework, we're going to pause on doing homework, Alex, and we're going to talk about homework. So, I know this feels a little silly, but the reason these announcements are up here is people did it wrong. So we're going to talk about how to turn assignments in, how to group assignments. When you have assignments in your binder, they should be in some kind of order. For me, I have my algebra tiles on front because we just did that recently. Then I have the math notes for this chapter. And behind my math notes, I have our homeworks. Your homeworks have numbers to help you keep things in order. So right now, what you should be looking at on your desk, since you got them out, since they were on the front like slide, is 211, 212, 213. And when we go to turn these in, we're gonna put them in order. The requested preference is oldest on top, meaning the lowest number would be on top, meaning when you go to turn them in, if you go to 211 and you look to make sure, okay, is the last homework I'm turning in 216, which it's not in my binder right now, then you should be able to grab the whole group and turn the whole group in, right? Just like unclip it from your binder, staple it. Well, I didn't mean to make you mad. Sorry, Alex. Now, when we go to staple it, all of your hole punches should be lined up because your hole punches are only on one side of the paper and it shows you which side is front. Now, I don't mean have your paper like flipped over backwards, reversed, and I mean everything should be face up. Everything should be lined up. Your papers are two-sided, so you have less papers. You should be able to see through. Then your staple goes above the hole punch at the top left corner. Nowhere else. Not on the Now, if you go down the sides, I get it. Some of you like to make books out of things. It's just not as easy to grade. I know I said the bad word, sorry. It's always kind of difficult to grade. It takes me days because I care about what you do and I care about looking at what you're doing and I really care about what mistakes you're making. So guys, your work doesn't have to be right when you turn it in. It has to be... Anyone want to finish my sentence? Anyone? Just done. Complete. It doesn't have to be right, but it needs to be done. Guys, we learn a lot from our mistakes. Mistakes are fine. However, if you leave your mistake on your paper and don't know it's a mistake, you got to be careful if you go back and use your work as a reference, right? If you're taking a quiz and you go find a problem that's on the quiz, you're like, oh, I'm going to copy the work I did on my homework. That would be fine if the work is good. That doesn't work so well if the work is bad. All right, staple, top left corner. Every question needs to be answered and every part of every question. So if it asks you for perimeter and area, and you only give me perimeter, expect a check minus. And guys, check minuses are fine. It's your chance to revise and turn it into a check. The reason we collect things on Friday is I know math is hard. Literally, Hannah made me a shirt that says math is hard. I get it. Take your time, do it well, get help when you need it. Right? And if you need help managing your time or figuring out when to, we can help you with that too. We can help you make a schedule. We can help you break apart your weekend. We can help you motivate yourself to get up at 8 a.m. on Saturday instead of 10 a.m. on Saturday. Like, there are ways to find time. Please don't put off doing your work. That's one of the big pieces of advice that my 8th graders gave that hopefully on the outside of my window there, and also I took some pictures, so if we have time, we'll look at those together. Still on homework, because you can't see it right now. They're on the outside of the window. So look this way, because what's back there doesn't matter. Your homework being messy is fine. I get that we're in middle school. Guys, my handwriting's messy. However, unreadable. I can't tell if you know what you're doing or not. Unreadable is not okay. Messy is fine. Unreadable is not. If you need paper, get more paper. You know where my paper lives. However, the thing I realized I forgot to say, revisions always go on fresh paper. Revisions always go on fresh paper, so I can tell what's new. Back here, I'm not a monster. I don't just want to kill trees. Back here, there are half pages of graph paper. Gravity works. That's not graph paper. Get out of here. And little baby pages of graph paper. So if you only have one question to fix, don't use a whole page of graph paper. Get one of these and just staple it on. Right? So revisions, if you have a check minus, or if you end up getting a progressing on something, revisions go on separate paper. Any questions? Graph paper tends to be better for math. Any questions? I fixed it? Oh, yeah. Is this... Okay, good. It is recording. I was about to say, I thought it was recording. Did we get a chance to check homework yesterday?
Yes.
So either way, I know we didn't get a chance to record checking that homework. So I'm going to quickly go back and make sure that we get it recorded. So this was yesterday. No. Well, we checked 2 yesterday. We found mistakes of mine, right?
Yeah.
A couple mistakes. Yeah, so no, it wasn't 145.
Yeah, but you put 44.
All right, starting at 211, because this is starting at what is getting turned in this weekend, or this Friday. I think both of these were correct on my page. I don't think I had any mistakes on those. We talked about you could break up those rectangles in a couple different ways. The one on the right felt like there was really only one correct way to break it up. I think we did all of these correctly, and by we I mean me. Are 2 different lengths of cable. X equals 33, and then the other one equals 51, right? 33 and 51.
It's okay if you didn't, choose a variable, if you just,
That's okay.
I don't think
Here was... No, that's not the one where I forgot my one value. I'm just trying to make sure that in a video, you guys can go back and check answers if you want. And change stuff. If you realize, oh crap, I did that wrong, and you want to put in the effort to go back and change it, I'm all about that. Proportions. You can do anything you want, multiplication and division, to a fraction, top and bottom, as long as you do it to both.
you don't have to do the same way as you do, right?
No, your work does not have to look the same as mine. You just need your work. Guys, this is the work of, I try to go above and beyond and try to answer whatever question people have, how did you get that? How did you get that? How did you get that? I don't jump to the answer. If you're able to do this more efficiently, that's okay, right? You wouldn't need, okay, well, yes, it does ask for 100, 1,000, and 500. So sorry, this is a bad example of me having extra work. But yeah, so we figure out the price of 1, then we build it up from there. Graphing points, always X, then Y. X is always your horizontal, Y is always your vertical. Z always comes out of the wall, out of the paper. It's coming towards you and away from you. Here's where I forgot 44 in part C. I'm zoomed in a scotch too far. And then we talk, I think it was last night's homework, with how can we make 0? And the question was can you do it with 2 tiles? Can you do it with 6 tiles? Can you do it with 3 tiles? So reminder, we made 0 yesterday by putting a positive and negative of the same thing together. How many tiles did we use to make 0? I mean, anyone?
2.
Huh.
Even
Huh. It's almost like it relates. This problem was slightly tougher. Some of you were able to do guess and check with it. This is more efficient than guess and check, but guess and check is fine if it got you there. This is just more efficient. This was negative 45. Yes, math is tough. Now, for the record, I do have that changed on my paper. So, for example, if you were doing like what we're doing right now, checking your homework, and you're like, oh crap, that answer is wrong. Oh, this is not my answer key binder. You go back into your homework and you say, I'm going to put in the effort to change that, add the 44 where I forgot to, and change it to negative 45 so that when I go back and look at this again, I have the right answer. I didn't erase. It's okay that I had a wrong answer. I cross it out. What was last night's homework? 2 on 4. Sweet. So now we're at last night's homework. Speaking of that problem we just talked about. So there are multiple ways to do this. Who can tell me a way to do this different than what I did?
Do like 1 negative, 1 positive on the top of that?
Yeah, do like on the same side of the mat, opposites, right? So like 1 negative, 1 positive. Now this is actually the wrong mat. I'm just kind of using it sideways since it was there and able to be grabbed. So 6 tiles, you could have 3 positives and 3 negatives on the same side, or you could have 3 matching tiles on opposite sides. 3 doesn't work. I know, if you were trying to get creative. Now, if you said something about put the tile on the line so half of it is positive and half it, okay, fine, sure. As long as you realize it really doesn't work, right? So like I drew a little picture of like, but what if? Guys, I'm the little brother in my family. My brother's 6 years older than me. My sister's 3 years older than me. So I was always the one going, but wait, what if we try? No, shut up, Mitch. Like, for some. Okay, Microsoft SAM. Does anyone have any idea what Microsoft SAM is? So Charlie maybe knows what Microsoft SAM is. So I am running out of time quickly. Microsoft SAM, you could type in and then it would speak it to you. This was cool back in the 90s. Technology being able to speak what you typed, really cool back then. I know, I'm old. So when you typed my name, instead of saying Micah, it would say Mitcha. So then my family just started calling me Mitcha, and then it shortened down to Mitch. That's where that came from. All right, moving on. No, you cannot call me Mitch.
Why not?
Because that's not even my name.
Well, if my neighbor
But it
name
could
was
be.
Nick, I would never call you.
Yeah, it could be.
All right. Very hard to get this to stop jumping pages. Which means I could just do this and show you my actual work. So, I wrote out my work a little differently than maybe you did, but I wrote out what I had in the top. Then I wrote out what the bottom part actually became. This is gonna become a negative x. This is gonna become a negative 1, right? Because it's in the opposite land. So, a 2x and a negative x leaves me with a positive x. A negative 3 and another negative 1 gives me negative 4. And again, we talked yesterday about I don't do subtraction. It feels childish. I do plus the negative. You can do subtraction if you want. It just, guys, technically speaking, you can't do x minus 4. You don't know what x is. So if you don't know what x is, can you take 4 away from it? No. Could you say I have an x and negative 4? Yes. That's why this is actually technically more right. It's not like the other one is wrong, because we taught you guys do subtraction. This is just better. It's just better. It's, yeah, the other way's fine.
What do you say, fine? Can you say fine one more time?
Fine. All right. Substitution, especially over here. Guys, your calculator's stupid. Your calculator's stupid. You are smarter than your calculator. What does it do when you square a number? What is squaring a number? Well, multiply by itself. So negative 5. What's negative 5 times negative 5? What's a negative
25.
times anyone?
25.
20. Positive, right? Check it. Ah. I didn't mean to hit Spotify.
How fast can you have a
Not important right now.
Well,
Check it. Negative 5 squared. Watch. Hey, look up here. You get to see how stupid your calculator is. It doesn't know that what you actually meant is negative 5 squared. It did the order of operations because the order of operations are meant to be followed. So it did parentheses. There were none. Then it did exponents. It hasn't looked at the negative yet. It does the exponent first. And then it finally gets to looking at the negative. Your calculator's stupid. Don't blindly trust it. Owen?
Now you've got me curious. Can you do the square root of -1 on the calculator?
No, it realizes because it does know that you're trying to do that. So it'll tell, it tells you it's a non-real answer. Now here's the thing, if I switch my calculator settings, so I go into here and I tell it that I want to work with non-real numbers, then it will let me work with non-real numbers, but right now, no, because then it breaks other things and I'll forget to reset this. What? Because I teach high school math also.
Really?
Yeah, not this year, but yes, I won't lie to you. I love it when you guys say really, and I've told you from the get-go, I am going to be honest with you. It's one of the things I like about my job, is an adult who will actually be honest with kids.
I mean, but it makes our hearts happy when we say
Well, I mean, it's okay. You can, Okay, so I got a text message last night that just said, hey, is Black Diamond a good brand for a climbing harness? And I said, hello, Phoenix student. Nice of you to text me, but who are you? And my buddy texted back, bro, it's Ian. I just assumed it was someone from Phoenix because I've mentioned climbing and maybe not to this class, but I just assumed it was one of you guys. Any questions on the diamonds? By the way, Ian, he had bought a Black Diamond harness for $3 at Goodwill. Is why he was texting me. Say, what can I sell this for? This one was like a puzzle. I love puzzles. So you have to, it's kind of like Sudoku, where if this goes there, then that can't go there, or this has to go.
I hate Sudoku.
Well, then don't think that this is like Sudoku. Then ignore I said that.
Okay.
But 6 and 5, okay, I'm sorry. Catan, tomato, tomato. Yeah. So then we figure out stop. Subaru, really? Alright, moving on. Moving on. The 6 and the 7, the 42 should have been pretty evident. If we bring the 7 up here, once we figure out the 8, 7 and 8, 56, then we got to put the entire area together. We got 168. Since they didn't give us a label, we give it a label, unit squared. Units squared. Okay. Any questions? No bueno. That means no good.
I know.
Unless you mean no bueno.
They're no good.
Oh, Owen. 34. I lied. 33. No, you go to block 2 after this. After block 2? Still at the normal time? Alright. I'm not answering any more schedule questions, but what I will do is do this. This is your schedule. So guys, if you had a check minus on any of those homeworks, now I guess if you didn't do a problem, it's totally blank, you could just do that problem in that space. You wouldn't have to get graph paper for that. But otherwise, if you're trying to fix something, revise something like quizzes, tests, pretty much revisions go on graph paper.
So do we just write the question number and then our answer?
Yep. Well, and work, right?
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
what I'm looking for is you didn't show me any work,
Yeah.
and I need to see your work.
But yeah, you just write the question so you know which one it is.
So we have 2 minutes still if you need to grab some graph paper, if you need to staple some things together. If all your homework was good and it was all checks, it can get clipped in your binder to be there when you need it next. Like when we have a quiz. There's no such thing as positive 0 or negative 0. There is just 0 for lack of value.
Just like red, sorry, just like black is a lack of light.
Well, isn't it?
And then white is a lack of.
Yeah,
No,
I
guys,
thought
no,
white-
y'all messed me up. You need
Yeah,
to-
we messed you up. That's what happened. You know, there's video
White
evidence. We could
is
replay this and see who messed up.
Black is the absence of color.
Can you show them
White is the absence.
On which one?
243, 2.1.4. Me and Laurel were confused because we both got 11.
Oh, then I totally might have been wrong. 14 minus 2. I forgot to square. Hey, look. Claire and Laurel get candy. Hey, Claire and Laurel get candy. Because in my distractedness, probably doing this, while also somewhere, like not my home, I forgot to carry down this squared. So this should actually turn into, so 2 squared should actually turn into 3 times 4. This should be 12 minus 1. And it should be the answer that they got of 11. So I'm going to change that on my paper. Unless I changed that last year and just forgot. Nope.
I wasn't there on like the one day that we did 2.1.2.
Yeah.
Why are A and D the same?
It's a typo. That's just, I was copy pasting because I take your homework out of the textbook and I make it into a worksheet. That's just a me issue.
No way.
Yeah, no, you're good. And we are just about out of time, so you could start packing it up if you want. What's up, Evelyn? I don't think we talked about this. I think we talked about this one, but yeah, this one I just need to see work that you can for sure like find a mean of values. Yeah, so go ahead and just do that and turn it back in. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
What is this button?
That button, it's the joke, or it's the, like, Mr. Hudson is not funny, but he needs a laugh button.
Can I press it?
Only if I turn it on first. So, hold on, Amir asked, what's this button? So hold on, Amir, you will know when to push it. Did you hear about the new dinner spot on the moon? Food's great, but there's not much atmosphere. This is a bunch of laughs. Alright, get out of here. Owen. A student bought it for me because she said, I'm not going to laugh at your jokes. Here's this.
Dang. Oh my god. The audacity. You can say
I know. Middle schoolers forget we have feelings too.
I have a question.
Yes.
Which days all board game club?
Pretty much every day at lunch.